Hey everyone, how's it going? It's either Randy Chavez coming at you today with a Veve OMI update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. For not, welcome back. I love y'all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, and subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon, and especially that super thanks button down below. And become a member. There's lots of perks. Also, rathex.eth domain name. So there's a couple things to go over today. This is going to be a news video, but also a community update recap video. What did you miss? In case you don't have an hour or so to go do that. I'll start off with OMI, and you'll kind of thank me why. So OMI today, over on the day, is down about 1.1%. It is down to triple, but that being said, it is down to 000632. So we are still above that despite a very lackluster community update. We do have $750,000 in volume, and you could tell exactly where the update ended, and they did not mention OMI. I'll get into that in a second. So I don't know what the problem is with them not saying it. I feel like it's very much of a President Trump talking to Hillary Clinton, like there's three words she refuses to say: law and order. I'll say it. We need law and order. And I feel like for whatever reason, their Hillary Clinton and law and order is OMI, and they just will not say OMI. Now, that being said, they didn't exactly not talk about it. They just talked about it in a roundabout way. So at the end of the discussion, at the end of the AMA, which I'm very happy they did not take any questions, because it's always, hey, my account's banned, hey, when Pokemon, hey, like, when this, it's always just, when questions or something that's not really beneficial. But anyway, at the end of the discussion, Alex had asked Mitch and Dan, hey guys, when are the anything you wanted to add? And they both said, hey, listen, just because we're not talking about something doesn't mean we're not working on it. In fact, it means that we are working on it, and it is a top priority. So there's a couple people that have said, oh, that's actually just a, that could be anything on Veve, could be anything with the Veveverse, but they did talk about Veveverse, they did talk about Veve, they just talk about updates, actual updates on the app, and then they also talked about Cash Out, which was, we have 15,000 people that have Cash Out, and I'm not one of them. I have like 0.5 gems in my account. I'm not cashing out anytime soon. But that being said, they go and they say, oh, hey, again, just to reiterate, just because we're not talking about it doesn't mean that it's not happening and we're not working on it. And Alex did also mention having a blockchain team, and I'm pretty sure that's for OMI. If it was for Veve, if it was for Veve Digital Collectibles about interoperability, I'm sure he would have said that. But it just goes to show, like, he kind of mentioned that in tandem with things that, we're not supposed to talk about, like Voldemort, he who shall not be named. But he just mentioned that around the same time. So, and I think the space was recorded. I actually went live for it. So if you really want to go listen to the whole thing, go watch my most recent live. It'll be there. But this is just a recap for it. So that's one of the things. Speaking of the other updates we have, they're talking about MCP. It's probably going to take a couple months. I would say Q4 before we're able to go and spend our MCP points. And again, why is that? I would say it's not because some things aren't close to being finished. I would say it's because MCP and OUP are morphing to form loyalty, and then you'll be able to go and use both of those in tandem and together with each other. And I think that just goes to show, or it could suggest or confirm that there will probably be no OMI utility in Q3. Most likely, I don't know. Again, any OMI predictions I've had have been, at best, close, and at worst, just god-awful wrong. So obviously take this with a huge grain of salt. My guess would be that we'll have OMI utility in Q4. I just don't think Q3 is something, like, if they're not even talking about it, if they refuse to say the word OMI, I wouldn't expect utility right away. Now, it's very possible that they go and do like what they've been doing with Veve. They didn't necessarily talk about crafting before they got it. It was just, again, they do updates every couple weeks, like once, sometimes twice a month. They have updates for the app, and then they go and they surprise us. Could they do the same with OMI? Absolutely. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. Again, how many times can I tell you, oh, it's coming, it's coming? And, when before people kind of like go away. And again, I could make the biggest FUD video right now, and I'm sure people are, in order to drive the price down, and then I'll do what I have to do. I'll chuck in like $5 or $6 grand, whatever, and I'll completely buy it up. But again, like, I don't want to say something and then have it go like the opposite way and they just roll it out. But I would say, let them cook, give them another couple months, wait till Q4. If by the end of Q4 we have no, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you at that point. But right now I would say I trust the team. I trust David. Don't put them in especially people that are going to go interview them. For whatever reason, they just don't want to say the word OMI. Don't put them in a position where they might accidentally slip up if they're, for whatever reason, not allowed to talk about it. And I know no one's going to listen to that. I know people are just like, oh, well, I could get them to talk. I can go and, get some good views on my channel. And I'm sure people will do that because people are very, very selfish. But again, I'm telling you, some people have ran their mouths before and it has cost the team things. So I would definitely suggest not doing that. Anywho, don't put them in a position to refuse to answer you or to say next question. It'll just create FUD. Again, let them cook, let them go. Speaking of other updates, I do have I actually have a bunch of things to go over. So I'm going to try to make it a short video. I had a buddy of mine, one of my newer whales, just say, you think Astro Boy is a good investment? And I was like, yes, anything Japanese will kick arse in the next coming months, be it Astro Boy, Ultraman, Tokidoki. And he says, is Ultraman out? Again, he's a newer whale. He's only been on the app for a couple months. And I said, well, just type in Ultraman in the search bar and hit show all results and you'll see all of them. Ultraman is the most popular show in Japan. And here's something that, and I just gave him a little excerpt about several takeaways from the report of Subaraya, which Subaraya just owns Ultraman. But Subaraya has nearly doubled since 2021, so either Decker has done well in terms of sales, or Shin Ultraman was to be the primary driver to sales. It's hard to say which is responsible for more earnings unless we have more detailed breakdown. This article is definitely translated from Japanese or Chinese because there's a lot of grammatical errors, so sorry about that. Shin Ultraman has led to more female fans becoming invested in Ultraman, at the very least in Japan by the looks of things. But the main area that is responsible for most of the massive spike in earning revenues come from China. Chinese earnings has now completely overtaken Japan by 3 times that amount. Overseas revenues from outside Japan has actually not really been impressive. Just a small jump from 0.38 billion to 0.39 billion yen. There's an increase of 0.01 billion, so really not a lot. The success of Ultraman toy sales in China has completely overtaken Disney. Yes, Disney, which includes things from Disney Princesses, Pixar, Star Wars, and even the MCU. In April, we are likely to get a list of announcements for new projects going forward for the next few years, so any news and things like a sequel to Shin Ultraman may be revealed there. And again, this does come from their Reddit, and it just goes to show that evidence to be why Ultraman could be good on Veve. And speaking of which, Dan Chabel had gone on and said before, over on the Facebook, speaking of the Ultraman, he said a couple of things, but he had said that his friend's wife and son got back from China, and the son was wearing Ultraman pants, and he says, that's Ultraman. And they were surprised that he knew. His wife goes, Ultraman is the most popular show in China. So yeah, you have a really big fan base following there. And something when I was showing my whale something in the Veve app, if you type in Ultraman, or if you go to your collectibles, like on your profile, the Ultraman Day poster, the secret rare, doesn't show up in your collectibles. It only shows up if you go to your full sets. I completely forgot I had it, because the secret rare, it should pop up on the collectibles over here. So I was going, and be advised, guys, if we're not able to spend our MCP points for at least a couple months, you guys have time to stack. The best bang for your bucks that I've seen outside of that Ultraman poster, which is like $30, is the Fantastic Four holiday card, $44, secret rare. On top of that, you have the Young Warhol poster, which is $30, secret rare. And again, these are all their own sets. You have Veve, it is $40, secret rare, all its own set. Again, the Marvel's Avengers birthday, secret rare, and that might be a little bit more. That might be, oh no, it's $27. So there's a lot of things there that you could get for that for $30 in order to get those secret rare sets, in order to go and really get a bunch of MCP points. Anyway, moving on. Oh, Mitch did say a small waitlist update as well. Thank you all for your patience as we work on stabilizing our waitlist. We're enhancing the rebound experience for everyone involved. This short-term effort is aimed at stabilization. We recognize the immense value this feature holds for Veve users, which is why we're also finalizing a re-architecture plan centered around decoupling and simplicity. Our unwavering efforts aim to maximize its potential. This will make our waitlist robust and extensible, allowing us to quickly adapt to any future use cases with confidence. The ultimate goal is to design and build software that fuels your growth. And I guess I'll go over this as well. This was a big thing that I had to go over in the live, but again, if you did not have the time to watch an hour and a half, I'll explain here. An Elon Musk parody account had gone on and said, "We freed the bird and now X marks his spot," talking about Twitter's transformation to X. And David Yu, this is his real Twitter account, says, "Set them free. If birds come back, it will be yours forever. I'm considering to renaming one of my companies." And again, that is a real tweet from him this morning on July 31st. July 31st, 2023. And there's been so much speculation about this. I'll go and just talk about it again real quick. I won't even say most likely. There's a couple different scenarios that are more likely than others. One of which he's just naming one of his New Zealand game card shops, OMI or Veve, just in order to get people in the door. Or he might have another company that maybe we don't know about, naming it Veve or OMI. I really don't think he would rename Veve. We already redid the logo and people were upset for like 3 days before they got used to it. They already put out a bunch of Veve logos, so I think Veve's pretty safe. I would think OMI or Orbis would be one of the ones to change. However, if you go and you change OMI to something else like VVX or Veve Headquarters or Veve Holdings or something like that, just to keep it uniform, OMI is the last 3 letters of OMI. So what do you call the OMI token at that point? A lot of people are saying, hey, could they do another token? And technically you can. You can go and look at all the wallets and see what OMI is and just airdrop people different tokens that are the Veve tokens. But be advised, guys, there's 4 different types of OMI out there. There's GoChain OMI, there's ERC20 OMI, there's Polygon OMI, and there's Wrapped OMI. So there's a lot of different, it would just take a lot of work. It's not something that I think would really work short term. Long term, yeah, if you think Veve, you would think the Veve token. Obviously all of us know that OMI attached to the Veve app, but not many other people know that. And if they are going to do something like that, it might be better to do it before mass adoption hits. But again, this is super, super speculatory. David might have even been trolling. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Breaking. Hex and Pulse Chain founder Richard Hart is sued by the SEC for securities fraud. I am 100% positive he is 100% guilty. The SEC might be feckless, they are, but they are not always incompetent. This is one that I actually think that they can win because, again, securities fraud out the yin-yang. Moving on here. New collector spotlight is Inch 8. Inch 8 is the, for Collector's Insight, he's just their new, from the UK, from Britain. Says, it's crazy to think how early we actually are. Collect what you like and collect what you love. Veve birthday is 23 September 2021. First collectible, Fantastic Four number 13. Oh, by the way, they did announce a Fantastic Four number 2, which is the first appearance of the Skrulls, which is a 9.6, sold over the last time a 9.6 Fantastic Four number 2 sold was over a decade ago, gaining $50,000 in the sale. Today, that would be hundreds of thousands of dollars if a 9.6 sold today. So that comic that we're getting later this week is going to be super amazing. I'm super excited about that. It'd probably be 10,000 comics, and maybe $7 or $10 per, I don't know. We are also going to get another drop with a pencil this week. So it means either Aladdin, which would be cool. You could get Aladdin, Genie, Jasmine. We already have a Jafar. I really hope they don't give us the magic carpet. There's going to be so many memes with that. I really hope they don't give that. Could be Abu, could be a bunch of those things. And then obviously that's just Aladdin. We do have Frozen, which we have an animated Iron Man. We have R2-D2, we have C-3PO. It would make some poetic sense to give us an animated Elsa. Let it go, running up staircase. Oh, please give me that. Please, Lord, give me that. You could have Anna. You could have Sven. Sven is the moose horse thing. I forget what it's called. The reindeer. Kristoff would be cool. Olaf would be great. But you could have a bunch of really cool things with Frozen. And then you have Peter Pan, which I'm not going to lie, I'm not a huge fan of. But Tinkerbell is a mascot. If they make her super scarce, she could actually be a grail. Everyone's super, super... Most girls that I have known in friendship, they like Tinkerbell for whatever reason. Again, one of Disney's mascots. And then you have Lion King. Give me Mufasa. I would love to have Mufasa, voiced by James Earl Jones, talking with Darth Vader, also voiced by James Earl Jones, in the showroom, in the Veve home space. That would be amazing. I would love it. I do kind of wish that we would have gotten Lion King in the form of platinum moments, where you could have like a Simba. I know he's in those pins. But again, either way, those are some of the other updates. Anyway, let me get back to this. His first collectible that the Collector Inside have, inch 8, is Fantastic Four number 13. Most prized collectible is his 249 Luke Skywalker Secret Rare. Most sentimental collectibles, number 405 Partner Statue. That's pretty dope. Favorite movie is The Fast and the Furious. We do have the Fast and Furious contract, so we do have a bunch of cars that we are still yet to see from there. So that'll be great as well. And his drop wish list is Pokemon, Shrek, and sports collectibles. Sports collectibles we will get at some point. Shrek we should get. It's DreamWorks. And Pokemon, let's just say they're continuing to work on it. Moving on here. Also, there is going to be an outage tonight at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, probably for like 4 or 5 hours, give or take. It might be less, it might be more, but for a certain amount of time, the app will not be working. It'll just be whatever. Oh, Dan also mentioned the Marvel Mighties. Like, the first thing he got on, it's like, oh yeah, I just got back from San Diego Comic-Con. The Mighties were in the background. And then he moved on real quickly. He kind of just mentioned that in passing, so it wasn't anything crazy. And if you are... one of the other big things that they have for the recap is if you... Right now, drops are normally at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And sometimes if you're in Australia, if you're in New Zealand, if you're in wherever, it's just not really a good time. Could be late at night, early in the morning, middle of your sleep cycle. But now what they're doing is if there's a drop you really want to go for, you'll be able to go and join the waitlist 24 hours beforehand. So whether you're sleeping, whether you're at work, you'll be able to join that waitlist. And then if you get selected, as long as you have the appropriate amount of gems in your account, you don't have to buy in that 15-minute window. It'll just buy it for you. That is perfect. That is genius. Now, there are some strategies what some people do is they join the wait list just so they have the option to buy. Like, oh, is this doing well? If I see it doing well on the secondary market, I'll buy in that 15-minute window. And then they do. And then if they don't, it is then they just, they don't have to buy it. And then it goes into the rest of the pool. But some people... You could still do that. I guess you just would have to keep your gem balance really low. Like if something's like $13, like another Marvel Mighty, you just don't, you just don't do that. You just have 12 gems in there and then it won't do it for you. And then if you do see it is looking really good in the secondary, then you just put in the appropriate amount of gems, you buy it. But anyway, I think that's amazing. You're going to get a lot more sales with that. It's going to be dope. And as I kind of touched on before, 15,000 people have access to payout, which is great. The bugs there are fixing it before a wider rollout, so that is really cool as well. Moving on, yeah. They did talk about localization as well, and right now, currently, it's Japanese, French, and Spanish languages are now in the app. They want the app to be accessible, so expect more languages in the coming days, months, and years. Yes, they did say days. Crafting, they do have its own team building out its capability, so expect more crafting, which will be cool. Again, they've been hiring teams for everything, and this is what I really want you guys to take away from this video. Now it's 18 minutes in the video. They hired a blockchain team. They hired a crafting team. They're hiring uber amounts of people. If there's something that could be asked of David, it would be like, hey, what are you guys spending your money on? And have him go into specifics. Be like, oh, hey, what is the blockchain team doing? If he, mentions OMI at that point, never mind. I was going to say, it's a way to get him to talk about OMI without talking about it. Like, oh, yeah, they're talking about certain tokens. And maybe he could say something like that for the blockchain team. Again, the fact that Veve is going out and hiring all of these different teams, not just one person, like all of these different teams, like multiple people, that just speaks to how well they're doing. They're still making between $3 and $4 million a month. So they're doing really, really well. As long as they keep that up, we're golden, guys. And they did also mention new IP, talking about Japanese and Chinese IP was important to them as well. Anyway, that should be it. Yep, it is. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. I love you guys. Bye. Meow, 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 meow.